This video will describe a practical method to weigh lambs in order to understand where performance is good, average, or where it can be improved. You will need an accurate set of weigh scales and means to record the data and lambs in the yard. Before weighing the first lamb, it's important to check that the scales are working. So using something of a known weight and just checking that it's weighing correctly is important to start with. There's no need to weigh all the lambs in the mob. Rather, weighing a sample is more practical. For most occasions, we suggest weighing 56 of the lambs in the mob to get a representative sample. If there is quite a lot of variation between the lightest and the heaviest, you might want to increase that to capture the variation, so to 86 lambs. However, when taking a sample, it's important not to be tempted just to weigh the best. Try to devise a protocol to make sure that it's random and capturing all the variation within the group. So for instance, if you've got 300 lambs, you might weigh every 5th lamb coming through. Or if your race holds just 30 lambs, you might weigh the entire 3rd and 7th batch to remove any bias. Weighing lambs at key times of the life helps understand where management practices are working well and when they are not. There's no need to bring them in specifically to weigh, but try to tie in with other management events such as worming. We recommend getting a sample at 8 weeks to understand how the ewe has performed through lactation, and then also to 90 days to get an understanding of how the lambs have performed up to weaning time. And that 90 days regardless of when you actually wean, rather than standard timing for when the lambs are getting more from grass and other feeds as opposed to milk. Setting the timing, first question to ask is what is the average date of birth of the lambs? We estimate this based on the planned start of lambing plus 10 days. So for example, if lambing is due to start on April 1st, half the ewes will have lambed by April 10th, and therefore for 8-week weighing we would target around June 5th, and then for 90-day weighing we'd target around July 9th. And then after the 90-day becomes a case of when lambs have been brought in for drawing for sale, and that weighing process gets easier and easier each time. 2 important points to remember: it's not a requirement that you weigh the same individual lamb each time. As long as the sampling is done randomly, that's absolutely fine. The other important point is to try to weigh the lambs at the same time of the day and to weigh them straight off grass. Therefore, we're reducing the effect that gut fill will have. So in order to calculate the average live weight gains, at its simplest, all you need is a pen, paper and calculator. However, SAC Consulting do provide an Excel tool which is freely available upon request. So talking through the data, we have taken the list of weights and we remove the lightest 3 and the heaviest 3. These are the outliers and they will influence the average, so we're removing them. You add up the weights of the remaining lambs and divide by the number of lambs to get the average lamb weight. Then delete the average birth weight of the lambs in the mob. Don't agonize over this. So if you don't know, 4.5 kilos is pretty typical in crossbred flocks. Adjust up or down where obviously different. So for example, mule ewes with singles might be 5.5 kilos is more likely, whereas blackies' average birth weight might be around 4 kilos. So just use your knowledge to give a rough estimate of lamb birth weight. So you will deduct this birth weight from the average lamb weight and then divide by the number of days old that we've estimated to get the average live weight gained per day. There are also available a number of software programs that can complete more detailed analysis, including the performance of individual animals when they have been EID tagged. So in terms of targets, for a lowland or upland flock, a 90-day lamb weight target would be around 30 kilos. Assuming a 4.5 kilo birth weight, that equates to 280 grams per day lamb growth rate. So to sum up, knowing how your lambs are performing at different stages of the season can help you fine-tune the health and feeding management of the lambs to improve. So if you're not achieving the target growth rates mentioned, you have opportunities to make changes that can lift your sheep margins.